Everybody, this is Jason Creel and this is the Lawn Care Life. Today I want to share with you an exciting day, at least for me. I have been on a transformation project on my yard for the past year and a half. Started with clearing off a bunch of trees and grading out our property and spraying it to kill all the grass and we plugged it in with Bermuda grass, and now the front yard is almost complete, at least getting close to where I want it to be. Tried to keep it updated on YouTube, but basically scraped it down and tilled it up and got it, most of the way level, got the hills and things out of it. Now it's still not perfect. I'll probably drag it later and try to make it more level. And the back, I want to show you the back and show you what we're going to do today, because we're going to cover about 2.5 acres of bare dirt. Well, mostly bare dirt with 2 pallets of sod. And you think, oh, well, why are you doing that? But anyway, I'll talk to you in a little bit. I'm going to try to find some video footage and put into this video of some old clips to show you what it looked like to do a little before and after, so that you can see what the property looked like, a year and a half ago. So let me show you around, and then we'll get started with the work and the grading out and showing you, putting out the sod, and tell you about the plan moving forward. So it's early in the morning. You can see my got some footprints where I walked across the yard. Still got dew on the grass, but this is my Bermuda lawn, and there are some imperfections. It looks pretty good. If you can look out there in the distance where that truck drove by, there's some bare spots that are still trying to fill in. Basically what happened is we filled this in. Some of you know this. We graded this out and sprayed it and killed it off last year. It was terrible. We moved in here and we plugged it last year with Bermuda sod about in August, and it was super hot and super dry, and I had a hard time keeping it water, just to be honest with you. And some of it lived, some of it didn't live. And this year we've had tons of rain. Last year it started spreading, but then it got fall and it went dormant, and then it came out this year. I oversee with ryegrass, and it started growing this year. We had a lot of rain. I put a lot of fertilizer on it, and now it's mostly filled in. I mean, this part is pretty much all filled in, and I've been mowing it about every 5 days, about 1.5 inches, which is as low as my mower will go, and just keep mowing it and fertilizing. You see over here, the reason there's bare spots over here, I didn't water this as much last year, so not as much of this survived the fall, and so there wasn't as much to start this spring. But now what did survive is starting to spread, and honestly I think probably in a month or so, we had a lot of rain, and it's about to be in the mid-90s, so I think this stuff's going to grow so fast, so which is a good thing for me. You can see some weeds there in the bare spots, but the Bermuda is filling in over here. It gets really thin. I've been actually continuing to plug some of these spots. You can see where I plug right there, and I just take my little plugging tool and plug little spots, and it's starting to spread. So you can see this is what probably was plugged, earlier this year, and how it just keeps spreading and spreading and spreading. So down here it looks, you got bare spots and stuff, but it's filling in. When it fills in, I can kill the weeds. I'm hoping by, let's see, it's July right now, I'm hoping by September that this will all be pretty much solid grass, and I won't have to worry about overseeding. But you can see what the front looks like, where I was able to water more, and it turned out pretty good. I'm happy. It's relatively flat. And the only thing, I tried to get rid of all the common Bermuda and just have it all 419 Bermuda. There's some common Bermuda that's still in here, not a lot, but there is some in here, so maybe over time I can get that to go away. I've been told that if you mow it tight and low, that the 419 Bermuda will choke out the common Bermuda as we go around the side. My landscaping project, so I did a video about it at one time. So I had a kid ran over that purple lower pedalum. I had one over here. It got ran over by a toy Jeep like that one over there, and it basically just broke it off at the ground, so I lost that. But and I'm having trouble keeping the weeds out, so I'm about to have to do something about that. But whatever. It's work in progress. But let me show you the back, because this is what I've been waiting on for forever and a day. Seems like I've got a tree guy who is we had somebody clear the land last year, okay, and he brought in a big track hoe or whatever you call it, and this was so thick in the back you couldn't walk through it. And again, I'm gonna put some video clips on here hopefully. Hey, I'm Jason Creel on this Lawn Care Life. Behind me is a big machine, a track hoe that we are using. I've got a guy hired out who is clearing off some of my land. If you've been following me on the channel, we bought a property maybe 8 months ago now, and we've been renovating the yard, redoing the landscaping, and now we're clearing off some of the acreage to hopefully make some improvements to the property. So I've got about 5.5 acres, a little more than that total, but only maybe 2 acres of it was cleared off, grown up with a lot of brush, Chinese privet, small trees. It's just been kind of neglected for a number of years. Well, I wanted to be able to use the property, and we were able to do a little bit ourselves with a skid steer and things like that, but it was time to bring in the heavy hitters that have the big equipment. And so you can see here behind me the machine, and we'll show you the progress that was made on day 1 with this machine. Okay, I don't know if you can get a good picture of how big it is, but it's a big machine, I'll say that. And it's like a giant dinosaur just eating things when it grabs it with that, snatching up big trees. You know, some of this pile was already here, but he's added to it. So let's kind of check out the progress day 1, and I would like to hear from you, the audience, on some suggestions with the property. Now we got to get a bridge situation here, because eventually we'd like to be able to drive a vehicle or tractor or something else behind here, but not a lot of water, but a little bit of water in this creek. Even this winter when it rained a lot, it was not that much water, but still something that's going to have to be addressed. But he's able to get the machine across no problem. And so he came across, and it all basically looked like that, just a jungle of woods that was basically hard to walk through. And we knew we had some good looking trees on the property because you could see the tops of them. So I don't know if you can see, that's a big oak tree that is quite a number of years old, I'm assuming. So obviously we're going to leave that. And he started just piling stuff up. Now we're going to have to get it hauled off most likely, because I'm pretty sure we're not allowed to burn it in this situation. And you're going to pick up some road noise. I'm going to try to plant some trees, just sort of evergreen trees, both for site privacy and also to help with the noise coming off of the road that's back here. So if you hear some background noise, that's what that's for. Now our house is not close to here, so the noise is not as bad, but on the back of this property it's going to be a noise issue. Well, so anyway, you can see what he's done today. There is a fence back here, so I don't know if, you know, I've even thought about the possibility of getting some goats, because you can see here we got a fence that would probably hold a goat. Maybe, I'm not much on goats, but I know they'll keep a property cleaned off. So that's one suggestion. But you can see what it looks like. But I'm thinking coming through here, planting the evergreen trees, and I'll give you another update hopefully when he gets more of it cleared, so we can see sort of the finished work. But I've been told by a soil survey that I have really good dirt here for growing things. So my suggestions, so my ideas on what to do with the land, again, I'd like to hear from the audience. But again, go on here with some evergreens, maybe some of those Thuja green giant arborvitaes was the ones I had in mind, but I'm open to suggestions. I'm in Alabama, zone 7, I believe, as far as plants go. But I like to, you know, hopefully build a workshop back here. I like to plant some fruit trees, maybe have a lot of blueberry bushes. I like to have a few fig trees and let that develop over time, give my kids something to do. We hope to get some chickens. You know, I'm not trying to become a farmer, but at least. But then I had to find, you know, I can't burn on my property, so I had to get it hauled off. And I've had a tree guy get it hauled off, and it's been really wet. and he's almost finished, thankfully. And then yesterday I had a guy out here grading. He's gonna be back today. He's grading it out, making it level. Now I've got about 2.5 acres in the back of my property that I'm wanting to look like a 2.5 acre. It'll basically look like a football field. I mean, it's just gonna be big and flat, and I'm gonna put the Bermuda grass out, which we'll show today. So let me show you what it looks like right now. Another side note, somebody yesterday commented on a video, said, Jason, you need to get a gimbal for your camera to make it more steady, not as shaky. And I appreciate that feedback. And I did order one. If you don't know what a gimbal is, it's a thing you hook on your camera or phone, and it makes it's basically a stabilizer, so that when you're walking or moving or riding the lawnmower or something like that, and being filmed, it makes it a lot smoother picture, better picture quality. So hey, it's something that hopefully you can look forward to if you're a regular watcher. If you're not, I guess I'll put a shameless plug to subscribe to the channel. Non-shaky videos in the future. So here's what we're doing. We got coming back here, and we've got there's 2 piles of limbs left. It's not that big, so you know, whenever it gets a little bit dry next week, hopefully he can come grab these last 2 piles of limbs and get rid of them. There's one over there as we walk this way. But let me show you in the back. He's gonna grade this out today. Show you on the very back. I live close to the interstate, so you're gonna hear some truck noises. I could have an on-ramp coming out of my backyard, I guess, but I don't think they would allow that. I'm not sure I really want that. But so this is the part that's been done, pretty much done. And it's not going to be like perfectly level like if you did it with a bulldozer. I thought about getting them something to drag it with, but I think it's level enough, and over time it's going to level out. I mean, it's like I said, it's not going to be perfect. Maybe one day I can top dress if I need to. You can see along the back of the property, I've planted these. I did this past winter. I planted about 30 of these green giant arborvitaes. So, you know, 10 years from now, I have green giant arborvitaes across the back that hopefully will help in the wintertime. Sometimes the leaves fall off these trees, and the trucks are a little bit louder. So we're thinking to give us some visual and noise privacy from the interstate. But what I'm gonna do, I've got this, I gotta stick it out there. I'm gonna make me about 150-yard driving range back here where I can hit golf balls, come out here with my kids. So this is what it looks like. It's flat, graded out. He's gotta come back today and finish grading out some of the rough areas. And we did plug Bermuda sod last year too. And you can see here, there's just Bermuda thrown out here randomly. Wasn't as much on this part because there was a lot of trees back here. But you can see, I mean, that's a big patch of Bermuda. There's actually a decent amount of Bermuda on this side. Now, not as much of it survived last year from lack of water when I plugged it, but what did survive has been spreading. So you can see all that bright green grass is Bermuda. So there is a decent amount that's been spreading this year. Again, not as much back here because that's where all the trees were stacked. So today, let me get my 2 pallets of sod. I'm gonna throw them out here, and we'll show you how that's gonna go. This is about 100,000 square feet back here. So if you say a pallet generously covers 500 square feet, at that rate, you would need 200 pallets. So at $100 a piece, I'm thinking that's $20,000 if you were gonna sod this solid. I'm gonna go with 2 pallets, okay? And we're just gonna, what we're gonna do is gonna go get them from the local place that just resells them from the sod farm. They're a little bit overpriced from them, but that's because you're just buying it, you know, from the middleman. But it's convenient, so I'm gonna go up there and get 2 pallets on the trailer, have somebody drive the truck, and me and a friend are just gonna sit on the back there and just throw them out randomly as we drive across the property. You think, well, how sloppy is that? Well, listen, I'm not gonna cover 100,000 square feet solid in sod. So to me, it doesn't really matter where they land. I'm just gonna throw them out there. Where they land, they'll start growing. Now, it's about to be 95 degrees and no rain. We had tons of rain. Wish I could have got this done 2 months ago, but this didn't happen. You say, well, why don't you plug it like you did last year? I went to a sod farm that had a plug-in. They had a machine that would like shred the sod up into little plugs, and it would go a lot further. Problem with that, 2 problems with that. One, I had a disagreement with the sod farmer, and he and I didn't exchange Christmas cards this year, and so I don't think I can actually go back to him. The other thing is, when you do that, it doesn't have much dirt on the roots, and if you can keep it watered, it's great, or get it in the ground somehow. But when you just throw it out on top of the ground like I did last year, it's very difficult to keep it watered. So what I had to do is basically water it and then go step on it to kind of press it down in the ground. Well, I'm thinking if I just buy the whole pieces of sod as a pallet and just throw them off, they'll at least have that topsoil on the roots that they come with from the sod farm, and they won't dry out as quickly, because I've got to get this watered if it's not going to rain for 2 weeks, which it may not, or not as much as it has been. What I'm probably going to do is use my spray truck, the tank on the back of my spray truck. It'll hold 400 gallons. I can fill it up with water, so I did last year, and come out here and spray the individual pieces. It would be very difficult to keep this whole area watered. So, and you say, well, why don't you just wait till it cools off or till next spring? I don't like waiting. You know, that's what I heard last year. I could have waited. I don't think it was 100 degrees is fine to put the sod out if you can keep it water. And I didn't wait last year, and some of it died, but what lived spread, and I'm just ready to get this over with and get it started and get it looking good, so I'm going to do it today. Now if I get old one day and I want to keep all this up, I may have to go the neighbor's route and use horses. I don't know if you can see them out there in the distance. You can see there's two. I think they have two more. So I think I can make a pretty nice driving range out here. Football field, soccer field, ultimate frisbee, kickball, whatever you want to play back here. We all have room to do it. Of course, the other thing I want to do is grow a really nice Bermuda lawn. So I'm doing this in July. Hopefully by October, when the grass starts to slow down, I'm going to get mostly coverage. We'll see. I'll try to keep you updated on here. I don't think it's going to be solid grass by October unless I just had unbelievable weather and rain. But I'm thinking if I can get 60 to 70% coverage this year without, you know, starting now by October, then I probably won't overseed it with ryegrass, and then next year it ought to go ahead and fill in the rest of the way, and I can have it looking really, really good. So we've started the sodding process, and I know what you're thinking. If you see this, you're going to be like, Jason, I think you missed a spot, you know. And you're right, I did miss a spot. I missed a lot of spots, but this is what we're doing. Two pallets for about 2.5 acres, and I had some Bermuda growing already, so you can see how we've done it. We got a trailer and just throwing it off the trailer, and you can see over here, this was some Bermuda from last year that started to spread. Sorry for the shadows. This kind of, yeah, we got to still grade this out a little bit more. But anyway, so I'm not putting as much here, but the other areas we are throwing the sod out, and that's what we're going to continue to do till we finish. Now in the middle there was a low spot and it was still real wet, so we got to let that dry out a little bit before we grade it out, and then fix this area here, and then we can put some in the middle. But you can see there's standing water right there, but it's hot and dry, so I think it'll dry out pretty quick. We're not really throwing it out in any particular rhyme or reason, just trying to, you know, space them out as equally as possible, just chunk them wherever they make it. Landscaper's not going to like how we're doing this, I'm sure. Finished putting out the grass. You think, well, how am I going to water it? I'm going to actually use my spray tank here, fill it up, and keep it watered. Bermuda will take root pretty fast, so I'm hoping we get some rain. If we can keep it watered, it'll probably be rooted within a week or two, and then it'll have a lot better chance of surviving. And that's one reason I did the way I did, just left the whole pieces so it had more topsoil on roots and wouldn't dry out as fast, have a better survival rate. So we'll see. Favorable weather, and I think we'll get, not like, my goal is, I'm doing this in July, I'm hoping by October to have about 70% coverage, but we'll see. That's going to depend a lot on how the next 2 to 3 weeks goes. If it gets off to a good start, I'll feel better about it. But let me show you what it looks like before I start watering. I got my tree face here, see what he thinks about it. So you can see it's not perfectly spread out. And there's some pretty big gaps in some of these areas, but that's all right. I can always buy more sod if I have to, but it'll get there. I just have to, as it starts spreading, if I get some bare spots, I'll take my plugging tool and steal some plugs and put it in the bare spots and just keep doing that until we get it all filled in. I think it'll be next year, and it'll be looking great, hopefully. There's more than one way to water the grass. I'm using my tank sprayer. We're gonna have irrigation back here, and it's gonna take a while, but I'm thinking if I can keep it watered for the first week or two, it takes root, then it'll start growing. I won't maybe not have to water it ever again the rest of my life. So we'll see. Next couple weeks is gonna be important. Let's get to watering. Great to just sit here and soak each piece, but that might take about 8 hours. So I'm just trying to keep this grass alive until we get some good rain, and then it'll take off. And Bermuda's real drought tolerant, so I think I can keep it alive just by watering a little bit each day, and then when we get some rain, hopefully it'll really take off. So appreciate you watching the video. I hope to give regular updates on the back here and seeing how it's progressing. But you know, based on my experience from last year and how the front yard's filled in, I feel good about it. I just know it's going to take some time. I'm Jason Creel. There's over 500 videos on the channel. I encourage you to subscribe to the channel, and if you're in the lawn care business, you can go to lawncarelife.com and check out the resources available for you there. Talk to you later. Bye.